Are you gonna blade this?
Probably.
Are you?
I can't remember.
Are you gonna do it, Owen? Are you gonna pop Q? This looks like an incoming Q. Okay, Owen. Before we figure out whether or not you pressed Q or not, should you press Q here? So you're playing. You flex between 3 different DPS heroes here: a sniper, a hit scan, so 2 hit scan, and then Genji, projectile flanker.
Yeah.
What SR is this at?
Why am I here?
I think it's 23 to 2400.
So gold. Okay. And how long have you been playing Overwatch?
PC, only about a year now, but I started back in 2016 on PS4.
Okay. And what caused you to switch?
I got a PC.
Fair enough.
That was basically it.
And do you have any specific goals for Overwatch? Like trying to get it to Diamond, trying to go pro, have fun with friends, get mad snipes, make highlight reels?
I think get the Grandmaster one day, but at the moment I settle for getting to Diamond.
All right. So, all right. Get to Grandmaster one day. Oh, okay.
It's a path.
And so
we're on the path.
You play Genji, McCree, and Widowmaker in this VOD. What is your full hero pool, and which ones do you prefer focusing on?
Hanzo and Genji would be my main 2. Hanzo is just because I got 800 hours of him on PlayStation.
And then they changed the projectile speed.
Yep, pretty much. And then outside of that, it's just kind of I flex to kind of McCree or whatever's needed, but it's mostly Genji and Hanzo.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look.
Shimada.
The Shimada Bros. Ah, you're gonna
Oh,
okay. Okay, we know
right?
the spot.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload. Patience.
Ooh.
Away! Oh, you're on a
Nice.
land. Did you want to land that shot?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Really good use of grapple. Making sure you have it when they have divers to get out of trouble. I would say retaking that angle, seeing that they were on a dive comp was a bit over aggressive. You probably want to take longer sightlines, or at least less predictive sightlines, because you did show up there initially. But getting the grapple was very, very good.
And also, I mean, this comes up in literally every single gold VOD, so you're not alone in this. But sound cues, right? So this Winston, like his jump, you should have been able to hear this and know that it was coming in and been reacting faster before the damage actually started being applied. And this is especially true on Winston. I mean, it's going to be true. You want to be able to react on audio cues, not on visual cues, and definitely not on hit marker cues. Because if the Winston lands on you, he can get that burst damage by actually the landing damage as well as the melee burst. So grappling away early before a Winston jumps on you is going to be pretty important. And the only way you're going to know that that's coming in sufficient time is listening specifically for those audio cues. They really don't like you, though.
No, they really don't.
Get her!
And unironically, all this time they're spending trying to kill you is like worth more value than you getting headshots.
It absolutely is.
Well, that's great because I don't hit headshots.
Yeah. I mean, like there is huge value. In what Lou is saying is just having people overextend to try and finish you off, and then overextending.
And then just punishing them, either from by yourself or with the rest of your team doing damage as you're surviving.
You can also bait that. Ooh. Woke him up.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Genji had you standing still.
So, I think a couple things. Based on where the payload was, you had a really good sightline to the payload, but we kind of opened up the map as soon as our Junkrat died early there. So even without sound cues, even without seeing divers coming at you, you can almost anticipate that movement when you no longer have like a full 6-member team. When they start using ultimates and stuff like that, you should be anticipating that aggression as the Widow, and then by default looking to play a little bit safer, or at the very least looking to scout any people that are about to get on you.
Okay, yeah.
I like the swap to Kree. Sightlines aren't as good on second point, and having CC and more HP is good against divers.
Yeah, I just at the moment I find that when I go Genji, that tend to go like Pharah and Tracer and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I have to play Kree then. So
Mhm.
it was kind of a hero I picked up out of necessity.
Not going aerial assault Pharah or aerial assault Genji.
Yeah.
One of my, yeah.
Even without swaps though, as Genji, like your only real high value assassination target would be someone like an Ana. Everyone else you can do more damage to effectively as McCree.
Mhm.
So I think even without anticipating those swaps and anticipating those counters, it would be hard to find value as Genji in this matchup anyway.
This is
So
going to be.
I really like the McCree swap.
This is also going to be another situation where audio cues are going to really help you, and I understand that you peeled to try and help your Junkrat, which was good, a good play. I don't think the Junkrat was in too much danger because he does have the ability to drop down to the Mega, but potentially picking off the chipping some more damage away from the D.Va would probably be pretty helpful, just to make sure the D.Va can't hard engage. So this is a pretty conservative play, but right at this point, the immediate thing that I hear, and hopefully you can hear on the VOD as well, is that a Doomfist is charging up his punch, right? So
Yeah.
so there's the Doomfist in your backline. Now this fight goes in a situation where he found a Winston, but look how much damage he did to this Winston. Like if he did that much damage to a Winston, he could have killed a Squishy if he found it. And then the Doom goes down here. So if you had reacted to this, there would have been a chance for you to either like shoot the Doomfist during the uppercut, or when he was retreating to that same Mega where he's now going to find your Junkrat, which thankfully he didn't get the kill, but that could have been really, really risky. So the Doomfist could have there potentially found a double kill. And the only way that you were going to react to that properly is with sound cues.
I think you can see it here in the end. I died to that because I don't realize my backline is busy, and then the D.Va just headshots me.
Yep.
And this is going to be any matchup with any amount of flankers, even if it's just like a solo Tracer. Having that awareness and not only hearing it, but being ready to hear it kind of thing. Being anticipating their flank is very, very important as someone like McCree who doesn't have a ton of options to reposition, to deal with split threats kind of thing. So you need to anticipate those threats before they even pop up.
Yeah, and it's the same sort of thing in like a Rhine v Rhine matchup. If a Rhine knows that he's in the Rhine matchup and he walks out and he doesn't see an opposing Reinhardt, he knows that the Reinhardt's on the flank. It's not like, oh, I guess the opponent just doesn't have a Reinhardt.
Maybe he's dead.
So if you're playing McCree and you don't see a flanker like Doomfist, you need to be looking for him or thinking about where he's going to come from.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a bit of lag there.
Still a good play, though.
My internet, my internet tends to just die like once every half hour.
Oh.
that's unlucky. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you know how to kill targets that are flashbang, so I'm not going to go into it, but there we go.
Oh, no.
Honestly, though, that late pick on the Winston is actually really high value because it means that they're not going to be set up. Oh, then let's look at the res. Okay, no, he swaps to Hog. Okay. It would have meant he wouldn't be set up on like a high ground, ready to dive deep kind of thing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Showing the potential of reacting to the Doom. Good.
I want to see the sign in. Hog's flanking from under.
Yeah, really good repositioning. Taking priority space. Ooh, this is a bit...
I love it!
Oh my god! I was so worried. I didn't know where the Genji was. As a Genji player, I'm sure you know, but high-nooning McCrees are delicious.
Oh my
targets.
god, the
He's
frag.
cleaned it up.
That was like a 5k. Wasn't that a 5k? Pretty sure it was
Yeah,
5.
that was really
I
clean.
think so, yeah.
My man. Love it. Well, 6 if you include the Doomfist at the very start.
Yeah.
6k. 6k.
Really good crosshair placement, by the way. This is something that's, I feel like, goes underrated in Overwatch because it's not like Valorant or Counter-Strike where you get the instant kill, but having that crosshair placement at head level by default is a very important part of Blanket Scan. And not everyone gets that down. Oh my goodness!
Okay. Okay, Owen. Calm down. So I do think that You're just gonna keep killing everyone, are you? Somebody stop this
He's
man!
alive!
One more! Oh no! Now you die finally. So I mean I like it. I like it from a point of that it was amusing to watch. But probably not the smartest thing in the world. So in this situation, you already had the advantage. You'd kept your Zarya alive. They had grabbed. You killed the Doomfist. This is a sort of situation where you're in control and you don't want to take a very high amount of risk, right? And if the opponent wants to take, like, you just being here is awesome, right? Because the healers, you've got an Ana. The Ana is going to be able to heal you up from this point. I mean, the Bat could maybe, but the Ana is going to be the main one that heals you up here if you need it. But you, like, if anybody tries to take this position, they have to walk into you. And if they're up here on this high ground and they want to run away from you, they don't have a path of retreat. And you being here is just really, really strong. It's a fortified position. But you walking down here does the same thing, in that you don't have an escape route if things go poorly. And you landed a headshot to clutch it out and get a kill, and then you got a DMAC on the D.Va. Awesome, but it was completely unnecessary and very risky. Because in this situation, you had the advantage. Let's look at this again. Oh, this is, I mean, you were down there for a while, right? So up here, I was like, they're regrouping, they're trying to get out. Pokey, 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 happy. Your Zarya gets hooked, bubbles to run away. And then here's the lamp, right? And you get the Doom, and then your Winston's in the background. So at this point, the fight is in your advantage. It's not won yet, but it's 5v6. And over time, the opponent is going to bleed their resources, right? So your Winston gets, slept in the backline. And then at this point, you go in deep. So they've nanoed their D.Va as a try and way to like clutch out this 5v6. But like, this is still going to be your advantage. So this would definitely be a point in time where I'd advocate being a little bit more conservative. Where this fight makes sense is if instead of the opposing Doomfist getting picked, you lost to somebody on your team, then you can go down here to try and clutch out the fight, because it's like you need to turn the fight into, like, if the fight is 5v6 against you, you need to make this play. You need to go down the stairs and even it up, make it 5v5. You know, even if you trade, 5v4 is going to be better than 5v6. So try and get that trade, try and be aggressive, try and clutch things out with a play like that where you go down and you have to find the headshot. But in this situation, you put yourself at a very, very high risk of getting killed and giving the opponent an opportunity to suddenly take this high ground, which is now undefended.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb, especially on someone with Mccree, who's not mobile, where he commits, he's kind of there for the long haul, is you're going to fall into one of two mindsets, like Jayne's talking about. You're going to be either aggressing to create opportunities and to flip tempo in your favor, or you're going to be using your team's resources to your benefit and overwhelming the opponent with a lot more pressure as a team. So committing to either one of those mindsets, either creating an opportunity or continuing pressure, will determine how you position and what kind of flanks you take, what kind of aggression you make.
That D.Va. Oh, you got slept!
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought the Winston Primal would last a little longer.
Man. Okay. Yeah, as soon as you see that defense matrix go down, or you know, you can just get the DMAC, and the DMAC is worth it.
Yeah.
You're dead.
I will say about, so we've seen sort of like two-ish flank high noon plays. The first one wasn't really a big flank, but both instances you were ahead of your team.
And vulnerable.
And the first one worked out really well with the drop onto the double supports. But that second one, obviously, you got matrixed, you got slept, you almost got hooked, and that kind of thing. So when you are looking for the flank high noon play, you want to time it to a time in the fight where not all the attention will be on you. So either in a fight where they've already committed resources somewhere else, like on your tank line, for example, you've already seen Matrix come out, you've already seen Hog's Hook, you've already seen Honest Sleep, that kind of thing, and they can't use those resources for you, or you time it at the same time that the other members of your team are going aggressive, at the time your Winston's jumping in, so they have to think about, should I sleep the high noon or should I sleep the Winston in my face? Should I try to hook the Winston and get a kill, or should I try and hook the high noon and deny a play, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Layering those on top of each other is always going to be better than sort of you popping out ahead of the team.
Yeah, yeah.
You can also use it just defensively to gain some space, right? If you were trying to like retake that point, for example, at the very end, if you high noon and like were around a corner or something and you had the potential to like peek and one-shot somebody or something, that would just really put a damper on the opponent's tempo and momentum and potentially allow your team to get back into the fight. So you can use it for space, for zoning, and just as a threat as well. So you don't always have to go for these really aggressive high noon plays. Like there's going to be some times where you're high noon, it's impossible for you to get kills, so you can use it for zoning or space instead.
Okay.
More Widow plays. Big.
There's a headshot. Nice. Oh, he's one.
Woo!
Nice.
Nice
Clean.
shots. Oh,
and then I whiff.
So similar to McCree, right now, there is no need for us to continue aggression.
You already got
There's
two.
no need for us to find another pick on top of that. We can leverage the team's resources in our favor by just surviving. Even just if you play the rest of this fight on cart, it'd be a lot more than being dead, obviously.
Yeah.
So using the fact that you have an advantage to play safer is like a general rule.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have the kind of mindset of we have a pick, go.
Yeah,
Which makes sense,
You do want to
yeah.
go, but you want to go as a team.
And conservatively. You don't want to
Yeah.
you're going by going in very aggressive. You don't want to. Okay. You don't want to make opportunities for the opponent to clutch, right?
Yeah. What's the Sun Tzu saying? It was like the way to our victory is not in our control, but the way to our defeat is in our hands, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like
We should have
it's
a
up to
Sun
the
Tzu
enemy
bot
to-
in our chat.
Yeah. I don't know the exact wording. I'm paraphrasing very heavily, but it's the idea that the opponents are going to outplay themselves more than you're going to outplay them, and you're going to do the same on your end. So don't give yourself the opportunity to throw, kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
So if you want to talk about like the way, ooh,
Very
that
close to getting
name,
that
danger, Will Robinson.
Man, what is with honors these days and learning how to play around Reflect? It's no fun.
Amazing. So one of the ways that you can also talk about this is unforced versus forced errors. So an unforced error also is known as just like the opponent done fucked up. They did a oopsie. They made a mistake, and you can capitalize on that. A forced error is when you force the opponent to make a mistake. And you can do this in the same sort of situation where... is there a good example in this map that I can show of an unforced error? Or sorry, of a forced error? I mean, it's a bit of a stretch. Because you're not really forcing an error, but you're forcing the opponent to make a play that is likely going to be unsuccessful. You've basically checkmated a person where the only thing that they can do is make a mistake, forcing them into a bad play. But an unforced error is when it's like the opponent hasn't done anything to make you play a specific way, and you play in a way that gives them an opportunity to win the team fight, the duel, the game, whatever it is. So, put in different terms, I suppose, when you do have the advantage and you want to go in, try not to make unforced errors while, going aggressive. If you are going aggressive because you see the opportunity, there's no reason that you have to do that. It's not like a win or lose situation. It's like a win faster situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you just played more conservatively and they're down 2, you're just going to have more resources over that fight. And you can also think about it in the way of, like, there's a neutral. So a neutral in gamer esports terms is kind of like when the fight is not quite started yet. People are in position. They're poking at each other. They're exchanging cooldowns and spam and things like that. That's the neutral. And if there's 6 people versus 6 people, all other things different, there's no specific advantage in the neutral. But if you have advantage in the neutral for whatever reason, maybe you're a brawl or a rush comp versus a dive comp. Dive wants to play really fast, and brawl and rush want to play slower sort of thing. And the reason for that is that if you have like a Winston and a D.Va, for example, trying to fight a frontline fight against a Rein Zarya, the Rein Zarya is going to win. They just have more default resources. And the Winston and the D.Va team wants to play faster because in the neutral they have a disadvantage, but in the actual fight they have an advantage, especially since they can pick a fight on a squishy target or something like this. So when you've gone up 2 in this situation, if you have a very large advantage in the neutral, just kind of like spamming at each other, just playing safe, whatever, there is no huge necessity to go hyper aggressive and try and finish them up all as quickly as possible and get play of the game.
Okay, yeah.
That was a much longer explanation than necessary. Oh, we rolled. Okay. I believe. Oh, you grabbed. That's unfortunate. That's a DMAC. Oh, she got the nade on her. No! You let the mini diva do that to your Zarya.
In my defense, he was shit talking me, my other
Oh,
DPS
okay,
all game.
okay. If he was shit talking, let him die. Fuck him. Who cares about SR? Good. Reflect on the helix. I love these angles. Trying to get these shurikens. Oh, so close.
Yeah, I kept getting so frustrated that Yana would not die.
Yeah. Like the one thing that might help you out is like there is quite a delay between the Yana like being in a killable position and you actually reacting to it. Whereas like the Yana was definitely below 50 HP a couple times there, but your dash was just a little bit too low and allowed the Yana the time to react. Where this is a point in time where you want to kind of reduce the get that kill, get that kill, get that kill. Yes. You want to react in such a way that you know your breakpoints, right? If you know that if you hit this many shurikens that they're going to be at this HP, and you're not going to actually know the numbers or anything like that, you're just going to know that it's like, oh, I hit this, they're at this breakpoint now, and I can dash them. And or there's also other ways that like your dash, for example, only does 50, but even if you are sure that it's going to be 50, you may as well dash at their feet instead of dash through them, and then melee just to make sure that it's 80 instead of 50 as a finisher. So it's like recognizing the breakpoints. You don't have to know like shurikens do 52 damage for a headshot, dash does 50, melee does 30. They're at 78, so I need this combination. It's gonna like these. There's just gonna be these patterns or these combos that you know. It's like if I hit them with this many shurikens, that means that I need this and this left. You don't know any of the numbers. You just know the order that you need to do things in. And yeah, okay, yeah, then also having just the finisher combos that are more than just dashing through somebody. That are like short dash right click or long dash melee 180 sort of thing. That even when you don't need it, it's probably pretty good to get into the habit because it's not like, I mean, if you're going for a really risky finisher, that's where you like ghost dash, but that's going to be completely unnecessary at this elo, and just going for like a little bit more of a finisher where you're confirming the kill and then getting out is going to lead to higher successes. Oh, that's a beautiful opportunity. Damn.
Very close.
Very close. I don't think it was necessary to dash up there. So like
just run up there, wall climb.
Just wall climb up there. So the cooldown on nade is like 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 8. I feel like it's 8. But either way, she's not going to have it back up by the time you just like slowly walk over there, wall climb up, and then fight her face to face, and then you have your dash to escape. So you like when the dash is unnecessary for the elimination, it's a really good one to combo into actually finishing the kill, or if things do go bad, then you have it as the option to dash away. But dashing to engage is going to be a much riskier play, and it removes that that option later in the fight.
Okay. Yeah.
The comparison I like to make is, imagine if every time Tracer went to take a duel, she's like triple blinking into her target, and then she's got no blinks to actually take the fight. She'll almost always lose that fight against most heroes when she doesn't have her mobility as part of her kit. The same applies to Genji Dash. If you're not using it during the fight just to get to a fight,
if you blade this, are you gonna blade this?
Probably.
Are you?
I can't remember.
Are you gonna do it, Owen? Are you gonna pop Q?
I think I do.
It looks like a Q.
This looked like an incoming Q. Okay, Owen. Before we figure out whether or not you pressed Q or not, should you press Q here?
Definitely not.
Why not?
Because we've gotten their Mercy and their Diva, which is essentially 4 kills.
Yeah. So what would be a better play here?
Play safe and just try and.
So, like, yes,
staggers?
well, not like play safe, like, however you want to call it, but like, what would that actually look like? What would you like? Tell me in tangible actions, like position here, go here. Like, what would be the better play?
Maybe walk up more towards the stairs and wall climb up behind all of them instead of just
like
dashing at their faces. No, more where the payload is.
More where the payload is, like up here.
Yeah, just kind of walk. Yeah, just kind of come up there behind them.
Okay,
so they can't escape.
What's another option that you have?
Oh, wait for my team to respawn.
Yeah, I think you're down 2, who apparently have really weird... Alright, we don't ask questions. Zenyatta, are you okay?
Zed.
They're just bleeding through reality. I want to see. This is going to be a blade, isn't it? Are you going to do it?
Yep.
You got nanoed too!
And
Big! Play of the game, let's go!
at the very least, we forced Bob. So, not completely unnecessary. But you can't depend on them burning resources in a losing fight already, right? So a better team would have saved all these resources, come back to touch the point with Bob, and then you'd have no resources to finish that fight.
Yeah. So and one of the other things, right, is that you always have the option to blade later, and you're trying to get time, right? So they've already killed 2, and it's like the play of the game might be sick as fuck. This probably was play of the game, let's be honest. Like the play of the game is going to be sick because you're going to like kill them all, sort of thing. But then the payload still has a pretty far ways to go, so you can like stagger them. Is that if they stay up and stay trying to poke, you've always got that nano blade for you. You know, the Diva also, the Zarya. I assume that she did not actually have projected bubble when you went up, or maybe she did. Oh, she did.
No, she did.
Oh, you grabbed as well.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I kind of assumed the enemy team grabbed somewhere. Yeah.
So your team used 3 of the most powerful ultimates that you have. It is, I mean, outside of like trance, to win a 6v4, right? And it's like if you think that in a situation where you do need this to win, right? You've killed 2 of them. They're going to be coming back from spawn. They've got that 10 seconds, so you can just like stay conservative for 15 seconds and then kill them so that they're never at 6. Like if you do still want to use this to confirm the fight, and you can't somehow finish them off just in a 6v4 in the first place, because really you are technically in a 4v4 with the 2 people coming back to spawn, but they're going to be here first. But if you play safer and you just kind of like chain these ultimates into, what's your saying, Lou? Use ultimates to build ultimates?
Oh, like layering ultimates?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a bit of a higher level concept, but yeah, like you should never be only using ultimates just to win a fight. It should be like at lower elos, like yeah, pressing Q wins a fight. But as you get better and play against better people, they're going to have more resources to deal with these things. So it should be doing more than just killing people. It should be getting space. It should be building other ultimates, like for example, nanoing a Winston to build Primal, nanoing a Genji Blade not just to try and kill everyone, but to ensure that the backline remains safe for the duration of that blade, because there's so much in their face, kind of thing.
Yep.
And right now, you are the only one able to capitalize off this. I mean, I don't even know why Zarya grabbed, to be honest. Like, what was she gonna do?
She's been grabbing on off cooldown, so
yeah. But like, you're using this blade, like yes, it's gonna get the kills and it's gonna be great. But the bigger picture is that no one else is getting advantage from this because we're still coming back from spawn. And we're not giving ourselves the biggest advantage possible by staggering their deaths by waiting for a full team to blade instead of just these 3 or 4 people.
And actually, okay, so yeah. I am trying to figure out where this Ana naded as well. Did she nade during this? Or did she nade? Or did she have it?
Oh, she probably threw it at Diva? Nope. She's just chilling.
Just chilling like a villain. So she had this nade. Did she not use it? Oh, she used it there. There it is. Okay. So yeah, like nade is going to be one of the things, because your dash slash when you're in Blade does, it's 180 plus 75, so it's like 255 damage to your dash slash. So nade is going to be one of the things where if you're going to be doing the if you're regardless of whether you're nanoed or you're dry, the nade is going to cause you to have to do one more of something, either another dash or another blade or something like that. So in this situation, if you could pressure them enough, maybe with enough headshots, maybe your target's a right click, that nade has to be used early, and then that can be the trigger for when you go in as well. So
same goes for Zarya bubbles.
Same goes for Zarya bubbles as well. So this can be one of those things where if you do want to kind of keep the pressure up and keep these staggers going, you can have your go button not on getting eliminations, but it's like, we've got eliminations, we've got an advantage. Our next goal is pressure out the cooldowns that will keep them alive, and then then finish off the rest of them. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
but on the upside, you know, we are being pretty particular here because you're still going to win the fight and probably the point off of this.
But this is the type of play that will get punished at higher ranks.
Yep. Not in like not in one team fight, but it's going to be like, you know, you'll win this fight, and it could be kind of like you could be thinking like, oh, this is what I need to do more often in order to win. But you're not going to get punished necessarily every time in this fight, but it'll be the fight after you'll have fewer ults, or the opponents will be able to retake because you over ulted, or you know, if the opponents are being more efficient and economical with their ultimates, they'll just have more ultimates for more fights. So. I think on a tactics level, I think that I would definitely like to see you finishing your like, so if you're dashing in and you know where the opponent's head is, like you're dashing at their feet or something like that, then you should be right-clicking right away because that's more damage and you can animation cancel. The other times, if you don't know where they are, just like hold melee and spin in a circle, basically. Because, like, I'm not kidding. So this is not something that a lot of people know. But melee,
there's like a delay on it.
Yeah, there's a lingering hitbox on melee, right? So even if the opponent is like behind me, right? If I'm touching it, I can just be like, oh, hello? So if you press melee and spin in a circle, it's like everything around you gets hit with that melee. You don't have to even be remotely accurate, and it's a free 30 damage, right? So if you are dashing at somebody, right? It's just do that sort of thing. Let me try and do it where I like dash through the tracer and just hold melee and spin. But even with that Reaper, like it was a situation where you knew he was around the corner, and it was probably going to be really difficult for you to actually like hit him with a right click, an accurate right click. But if you just after that, like as soon as you're dashing, hold the melee and then just whip your mouse 180 degrees, and anybody around you, if you finish your dash within melee range, they will get hit for that extra 30 damage. So it's just going to be situations where they die more consistently. So I missed one.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about like actual Genji Tech because I think, like we said, your mechanics seem pretty good.
Yep.
It seems like you know what you're doing a lot of the time, but all this decision-making process and the way you are overcommitting in certain situations, over-ulting, for example, that's where you're going to see the most improvement. And that's a harder concept to grasp than just doing tech and hitting shots and kind of things like that. But it's going to have payoff, especially once you hit the higher ranks, and you're going to need to know these things. Otherwise, you'll be like snowballed, and you won't know what's going wrong necessarily because you're on the surface level, you're doing everything right, you're hitting your shots kind of thing. But the game is a lot deeper than just clicking heads.
And it can be one of the most frustrating things is losing games, but not knowing why you're losing them.
Yeah.
Or like getting hard stuck and be like, but I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah, but I pressed all my buttons.
And so like you're doing so your animation cancels there can be they can be frame perfect on canceling right clicks with melees. There's quite a delay between you right click meleeing, and they can be frame perfect.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a cancel. I just knew that you had to melee after right click.
Yeah, it's cancel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Small stuff like that, and like predictive hits, like when you know your left clicks are going to hit, and then you predictably dash to immediately get the kill before people can react, are going to be some like higher level Genji techs that you can work on. But I think more importantly than all of that is just making sure your decision making is in the right headspace.
That was good.
Yeah.
Do you know Genji techs? Do you want us to go over Genji techs with you?
I don't know a whole lot of them. He's kind of when I was on console, so it's only since I've come to PC.
Yeah, we actually had a console Genji reviewer do recently. We were like, wait, some of these techs don't work on don't work on console.
Not quite as easy.
Yeah.
Because I remember on console I tried to do even just right-click dash, because you have to use the same hand, like you're using left trigger and left bumper to do that, and it just does not work. And then trying to melee and move at the same time with like while you're doing a 180 is like just very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll spend some time going over Genji techs for you. So, I don't think you've done it so far, but you know that reflect is now cancelable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mainly only use that though, and it's Reinhardt Fire Strikes.
Oh, fair enough. So even in the Mccree fight, right? Mccrees are usually very hesitant in order to actually shoot at a reflect, and their reaction time is going to be slower to get a shot in. So you can usually get a free shot in if you end your reflect and fire into him. Whereas like the reflect, the duration is known. There's a sound cue for it ending, and if you let the reflect end on its own, the Mccree can be the first one to land damage. So if you're reflecting and flash didn't come out, you can end and try and get the right-click melee in before he can kill you. So it can make you a lot less predictable, and also it's just a higher tempo engage. So
one of the really fun things too for Mccree specific is like if they're high nooning and you get in his face and start reflecting and then just immediately cancel it, he'll be like his head will still be processing the reflect sound, and then you just get a free right-click melee or dash in his face, and hopefully get the kill.
You're just playing cleanup here.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I wish I had like a full list of them, but we're just going to go off of memory here. So we talked about...
I mean, the biggest ones are the dash combos.
Yeah. So there are some like wonky things about like the dash as well, because normally when you're looking for an engage, right, you're going to be left clicking from range trying to hit a person. And then if you see the headshots go in, right, at that point you're going to dash in and get the kill. Now, one of the dangers here is that if you have, so there's going to be like that's going to be the main one there. So you can dash at a person's feet, and then once you've hit that, right? Oh, I went a bit too close, but your dash doesn't need to go through people in order to get the damage. It's like if they touch your person, right? So if you do that, and then you manage to land 3 shurikens on their head, that's a kill. But sometimes that's pretty hard, and it's also completely free for you to dash somebody and then do the cancel into their body, because that will put them at pretty low HP. I actually don't know the exact number that puts at. Looks like it's 36 or something like that. So even if you are going for the headshot, you can do the cancel, which is right-click melee. So one of the things that it was looking at when you were doing the right-click melees, it was like that, whereas it is instant, right? So you don't even see the shurikens being thrown out. You just see the melee animation, but you can tell that the shurikens are being thrown out because you actually see them. So that's one of the things, is that you kind of, when you are doing it, you have to trust that the shurikens have fired, because they have, even though you're only seeing the melee animation. But with that, so there's the dash in right click if you're going for the head, happy days. Dash in right click melee if you need that as a finisher. If you're doing the long dash, like you're dashing through a person, and then 180ing for the extra 30 damage, you can do that. Now, one of the dangers here is that, so right click fires faster than left click, pretty significantly. Now, the dash can animation cancel. So if you can fire out, like you see my ammo counter, I left clicked, but my ammo counter only used 1 shuriken, right? Whereas normally you fire 3. So you can animation cancel or interrupt your left click at any point in time with your dash. The problem with that is it doesn't reset the rate of fire. So if I left click, you saw how there was a delay for my right click coming out. So if you dash too quickly after your left click, your right click is going to be delayed. Boom. So there's about like probably a third of a second delay after that right click, and that can be really disorienting, especially if you're used to like flicking up and getting that shot off immediately, compared to just the right click coming out even before you've finished leaving the swift strike animation. So it's a small thing, but especially if you're trying to be super precise, you do just have to be aware that the internal timer or the countdown on Genji's rate of fire does not get reset by the dash, even though the dash animation cancels the shurikens. So with that, one of the things that I would just recommend is that if you are left-clicking somebody and you get them low, at that point you just wait for a second, line up the dash, and then go in to finish them off like that. So don't be too impatient, especially if you're left-clicking. It's going to be less of a big deal if you right-click, but it's still going to be enough of a rate of fire difference that it will be slowed down. And it is going to be kind of that small difference. But yeah,
a big point where this comes up in game is if you're on the flank and you find someone like scoped in, like an Ashe or a Widow or something, unless you can guarantee like all 3 left clicks going into their head, you should be opting for the dash right click without even shooting your primary fire, because you'll want to alert them, and then they'll be able to move more reactively to you. And unless you can guarantee like a triple dink with your left click, you'll get more guaranteed damage by doing a max range dash into a right click into their heads.
Yeah, so if you know that somebody's standing still, you can just do the 3 into the head. But if you can only guarantee that it's body, for example, it's going to be much better to just take the time and then do the dash, right-click, melee in order to burst them down like that. And this is also going to be another reason why you just want to use those dashes for finishers, not for engages, because it's going to be way easier for you to get the kill. Another tech, which is going to be if somebody is really low and they're in a very risky spot, like let's say that there's a Zen like this, and then there's also going to be a Mccree or a Brigitte guarding them. The Ghost Dash... Oh, I fucked that up. Oh, away! The Ghost Dash allows you to cancel the dash animation with another animation because of the reset. So, if anybody's lower than 50 HP, I'll just do it in a straight line before trying to 180 it, right? But you can see how it's like Genji's arms don't move, but you still see the little green... thing in front of him. So that's why it's called a Ghost Dash, is because like Genji's arms don't do things, but you still see that little green thing. And you have the opportunity to 180 during that in order to get back to safety. No. Anyway. Requires you to actually know how to 180 pretty much instinctively, but it's...
This is something that's actually perfect to practice in the training range. Like, you don't need specific game codes or anything for this, because the bots are very predictable, and you want to practice your movement and your mouse precision more than anything when you're practicing this, not necessarily target prediction, because that's something you want to add later on into this tech. But just being able to fully 180 and then being able to chain like 2 bots together around the moving bots will be like really great practice for this tech.
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, like that.
That's just the fastest way to do that and be safe. Yeah. Well, so if you are going to be blading or anything like this, I think they removed this animation cancel, and it's probably been a year since I've worried about it. But one of the ways is that you don't, wall climb when you unsheath the blade. Not only does it just allow you to get into it a little bit faster, or used to, even if it doesn't though, it also just makes you a little bit harder to hit. And if they are going to be people, inside of a door frame or something like that, unsheathing also is going to allow you to get the double jump. Let me try and find a place where this is a little bit nicer to demonstrate. So let's say that this doorway is here, right? If there's somebody in there, right, you can like blade, climb, and then do a double jump like that to slash at people instead of trying to be staying inside them. So this is just something that a lot of people don't realize, is that after you finish the wall climb, you still have the option to secondary jump. So you can be like hiding above people a lot longer, especially on door frames. Whereas if you had to secondary fire or secondary jump, you're not getting it anywhere in close. So this can be very useful, especially if you're able to land the dash, jump, land the dash, and then hard commit inside of it. People hiding around door frames actually makes things a lot easier for Genji. Being in open territory is what Genji really doesn't like, because his secondary, like his 2 jumps don't actually really take him that high, and they also make him pretty predictable. So if you do see the kind of people hiding indoors or something, like it's only going to make you easy to hit if you try and just W inside of it. But you can use the range of the slash to get that, and then just jump back to safety and stay outside before hard committing.
I am ready.
Double jump baiting in general is also just like a really good practice to get into when you're playing against people like Mccree or Ana. Their instinct is going to be reacting to either your dash arc or your jump arc. So for example, you dash into the sky and then you're coming down with your blade. That's a very easily predicted thing, where if you are directly on top of someone, forcing them to aim like directly up, and then you use your double jump to like right before you hit them or hit the ground, it's going to be harder for them to do stuff like flashbang you in midair. It's going to be harder for them to throw a nade on the ground and have it hit you, that kind of thing. And it's just generally good practice to throw off people's aim as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the secondary jump, even if you do the I just demonstrated without explaining what I was doing, but even if you do get the so even if you dash into, because you knew that's a pretty common one, just that blading resets your dash. I'm gonna assume that you knew that one. But even if you do the dash into the second dash, your secondary jump is still maintained, right? So let's say that this is going to be a little bit harder for me to do, especially without any warm-up at all, right? But if I dash up, blade to get the reset, I still get my secondary jump and I can stay above people. So you're like the second jump charge, I suppose, will persist after dashes. So you can
Okay,
dash,
yeah.
jump, and then you can use that to stay above people instead of trying to land on the ground.
Yeah, that's a pretty niche situation. Like if you're already at like a considerable high ground and you really want to throw off your descent, that's something you can do. But yeah, don't need to like force flying around in the air with that when it doesn't make sense.
You can also do it to dodge things like headshots if you're going to be going against a Widowmaker jump before you dash in. Because you do have like a lingering hitbox on the Swift Strike. Is that it's actually, like, if somebody is Swift Striking directly, sorry, if a Genji is Swift Striking directly at an Ashe or a Widowmaker, it's actually relatively easy for that headshot to land. So if you are trying to juke something specific like a sleep, you can even do the dash jump and then dash into somebody. But this is going to be one of those things where it's just dash, jump.
Yeah, just messing with your timing. You just want to keep mixing people up when they have big cooldowns that can throw you off, like hooks, nades, sleeps, flashbangs, that kind of stuff. The biggest thing by far, though, is we want to clean up your dash combos. Everything else we talked about was kind of secondary, I think. But getting that guaranteed damage in by knowing exactly the range of your dash, knowing whether you're going to be going through the opponent, being able to queue up a melee or a right click, depending on the situation, that's where you're going to see just the best assassination potential possible as Genji.
Round 2.
Okay. Yep.
All right, round 2, going to extra rounds. Yeah, Genji's definitely a hero that has a lot of benefit from hanging out in the practice range and getting all of those techs down until they're just automatic.
Yeah, and then also once you do learn all the techs, then you need to sort of find your own playstyle with him too. He's a very creative character.
Very creative.
So finding ways to adapt to different situations that suit you as a player, not just the hero,
Yep.
is a big part of his kit.
Like my playstyle on Genji is very, it's very frontliney. I support my tanks as much as
No, I'm
possible.
the same, yeah.
And I'll only go after DPS if they are specifically overcommitted, overextended, or use the cooldown and are vulnerable, instead of trying to force those situations. Where you have other Genjis who will like specifically hunt backlines and kind of like not do a lot of damage mid-fight until they find a target, and then just use their like very well practiced techs to just get an assassination and then just fuck off. So you can have it, and like Genji is probably the hero with the largest amount of playstyles to him.
Yeah, I'd say so. Maybe Winston. Winston's got some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm going to commit to that. I think that Genji is the hero with the largest amount of different playstyles available to him. So, yeah, like once you have all these techs, getting used to the specific ones that, it's like you've got the mechanics to pull off the tactics, you've got the tactics knowing like how to win each duel sort of thing, but then you need to know strategically how you're going to apply them. Are you going to be applying them to a Reinhardt? Are you going to be applying them to a Zenyatta in the backline or a Widowmaker on a flank or something like that? So, once you've found kind of like where your strength is, try and build that into an overarching strategy about how to get eliminations that win team fights and win team fights that win games.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Oh, we are going super fast. Slow that down a bit.
Don't know why the Widow was there, but it was good.
This is a situation, right, where you want to play conservative?
I think this is actually a fairly good example of playing conservative, waiting for your Winston to go in, even though you saw that Ana as a priority target. Waiting for the Winston to go in, take some attention off, wait for your moment. Chasing this Mercy this much, maybe not so much.
Mercy
But
has a
that Ana
surprising
kills,
amount of damage.
yeah. That Ana kill specifically, I was pretty happy with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just literally a mindset change of if it's going to be overtime, I don't want to leave the payload.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this
So
Genji
I
did
think-
it. Did this Genji short dash your Zen?
10 seconds remaining.
Oh.
So,
he did the melee
I mean,
afterwards, but he didn't even
So
short
that's
dash.
an
He was
example of
just
like the
perfect.
perfect range
Yeah.
dash, where you don't even need to hit the ground if you know the exact range, and there is like a basically melee range hitbox around you the entire time during dash.
Yeah.
It's amazing how good gold players are now, considered to how good they were in like beta.
Yeah.
Should get this right. Yeah, I'd love to be seeing like range specific dashes instead of just constantly dashing through people.
Mm-hmm. Since we were talking about it earlier too, like even when you were 1v1ing that Zarya, just like weaving in double jumps makes it, one, brings you closer to her head if you're shooting down into her, but two, makes her aim like a lot harder to manage when she has to use 2 axes instead of just the horizontal one. Which is a really good habit to build.
If you die here, I'm gonna be so sad. Oh no, you see him good.
Oh, this dash!
The dash! Pig. Please don't blade that.
Yeah.
Your Winston's up there.
Oh, you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I can smell it.
That's not the worst case to dash.
Yeah, they vouched now.
Oh!
Nice.
Okay, you're doing it. You're increasing my blood pressure significantly, but you're doing it.
That's also a big benefit of like not committing blade super early, is you have the choice, right? So this whole fight, you had the choice to blade. As soon as they valked, for example, you might have responded with blade. That wouldn't be bad. But we are winning this fight anyway without committing it, and now we are winning this fight, right? Okay.
There's no way we don't, right?
Now, going into the next fight, it's going to be much, much easier for your team, knowing that you still have that ace in the hole in your nano blade.
I'm so proud of you for holding it.
Yeah, and this is a great example too of like your Zarya is a grab off cooldown Zarya, so anticipating that and not feeling the need to commit your ult when she has her own too means you don't even need to coordinate with your team to line up what ults you're using for this fight or that kind of thing. You can sort of play around what's happening around you and be more patient. I'm not sure if your slash actually went off there before you dashed. Was that too early?
I don't know. Something happened. Oh no, Theana, you got her. You're still gonna win this, right? Let's look at that
Yeah,
again.
we good.
You know how long it took me to figure out that you can actually cancel your slash with your dash?
Yep,
I
it's annoying.
didn't even know.
An infuriatingly large amount.
Another tech we missed.
Another tech. This is not a tech that you want to do.
Yeah.
So you got the Mercy, you tagged her with the dash. So at this point it's dash, slash dash is the kill, right?
So yeah, I think you canceled your
Yeah,
slash.
you canceled your slash with the dash. Would have killed the Mercy otherwise.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a muscle memory thing more than anything.
And this thing as well. So this dash, even if, like, especially when you're blading, right, is going to be a situation where you turn around. Oh, you did get in range. I thought that you might not have been in range to get that slash efforts, but if you don't...
That was really good.
Yeah, you managed to get it. Mostly because the Ana turned around, but if she had kept running, she would have been outside of your blade distance.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you escape it like nothing. Good dash. That was perfect HP. Good. Good!
He's playing Genji.
He's doing the thing! He's doing the thing!
This used to happen all the time in scrims, because like Genji's such a good cleanup hero, right? Because of the dash resets, and like anytime a Genji would just get like 5 dash kills, players were just like, "Oh, they've got a Genji player. Go next."
Oh. Oh, that Mercy. What is she doing? Oh no! If you would land. Oh, okay, you still got it. My God,
I think he did land it, but
dash
the
to the
Valk
mega!
healing was just barely enough. This was kind of an interesting thing. I think you lost track of where the cart was and where your team was, and you were sort of dashing out to where you thought your team was playing, but in reality they were way farther ahead of you.
Yeah.
So Genji's not typically a hero you need to worry about kiting too much. It's more either you are overextended or not during your setup that becomes the problem. But if you are looking to get out of a fight, like in that instance where you were purely kiting, you were just trying to live, keeping track of not only where you think is safe, like based on attacker and defender spawns, but making sure you know where the objective is and making sure you know where your main support, your Ana, your main healer, I should say, is going to be really important. Otherwise, you'll be needing to rely on stuff like mega packs and outside sources of healing. whether that means just getting far enough away from your threats or going specifically to like that mega pack underneath. And in that instance, I think having the awareness to go to your mega pack, not knowing where your Ana was, would have been really, really good.
Okay, yeah.
Either play aware enough to be able to fall back to your team, or independently enough to not need them in the first place, kind of thing.
Wise words. I kind of want to ask whether this is a win or a loss, but I am also just excited to see somehow how you lose all 3 points in a minute 49.
I mean, they are on a bastion.
Oh no.
Oh, JK. A little scary.
No.
I guess may as well talk about that small thing. If you are opting to flashbang right click, make sure you have ammo. I would say if you have even if you have 4 or less bullets, you should be left clicking during those situations.
Yep.
Oh man, you are brave.
That's one way to put it. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
It pays off though. So this is a good example of limit testing. I think we were talking in our previous VOD was the player we were working with wasn't confident enough. And arguably, I'd say you're being overconfident, but the fact that you're not being punished, I mean, there you got punished, but the fact that you weren't punished by that Widow specifically means you should absolutely keep bullying her for the rest of this game. Until she lands a shot and she sort of puts you in your place for being aggressive, then you can get a lot of value by challenging these players.
Yeah. So specifically in that situation, if you look at the risk and rewards, you have to hit 2 or 3 shots. So 1 headshot, one body shot, or 3 body shots is going to be what's getting the kill on the Widowmaker, assuming that she gets no healing, of which both of the healers were still alive, right? Mm-hmm. So that's challenging, to say the least. And what does the Widowmaker have to do to kill you? Hit you in the head, regardless of whether or not you're being healed. So the risk and reward there is dramatically in the Widowmaker's favor. And this is a sort of situation where it's like, yeah, if you want to test how good your aim is and how shit the enemy Widowmaker is, absolutely go ahead and do that, right? But you want to try and find those duels that are in the other direction, where it's like, if you find a Mercy or something like that, and this is a situation where you're trying to proactively get eliminations. But a Mercy, how many shots does she have to land on you in order for her to kill you, versus how many shots do you have to land on her? Or if she's close enough and you have 6 bullets, just flash fan, she's dead, lol. Laugh yourself all the way to a win, sort of situations. And there's other ways where you can play less directly, trying to get value through eliminations, and you can do things like applying pressure to the Reinhardt, or making sure that they don't have a flanker. Damn. Right. So one of the things that you could do is you can adjust the math or the equation or the calculus, whatever you want to call it, on if they had a tracer, their tracer going against their Zenyatta, right? That engagement is in favor of the tracer. But if you, as Mccree, played with the Zenyatta, suddenly the math no longer makes sense for the tracer, because not only does she have to contest with the Zenyatta, who can land some shots and land some discords, but also has to contest with you, who can land some shots and land the flashbang as well. So this is a situation where you purposely put yourself in a very risky position, and it paid off. But that risky behavior, it's kind of you're in gold, and this sort of thing will work against gold Widowmakers. But will it work against plat Widowmakers, or diamond Widowmakers, or grandmaster Widowmakers? No, they'll fucking dumpster you. So this is gonna be a situation where it's always hard as a coach to be like, this thing that worked out for you, don't do it. But you got to play for the rank you want, not the rank you have. And that's just that's good. That's the best way that I have to explain that. So
yeah.
The only caveat I will add, though, is especially at lower ranks, it very much is a thing to play into the disadvantages of the enemy team, including player skill. This situation in particular, I'm not going to condone, obviously, challenging the Widowmaker like that. But there are going to be situations where you notice enemy players who are particularly punishable.
Yeah.
And you want to play into that. But that might look like switching to something like Genji, just to farm this Widowmaker over and over, kind of thing. If you know she can't handle the duel in that respect, it doesn't mean forcing an over-aggressive 10% success chance duel. It means finding a way to make the duel more favorable and punishing their weakness.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we are aggressive.
I love it. Drop on the Ana and flash Fanner. Assert your dominance.
I think
Are you gonna duel the
Talk about
Widowmaker?
high
Are you
percentage plays, Jayne?
What are you doing here?
I mean, it's a good setup for a high noon play, or to farm this Widow.
Pog!
There we go. We had bullets. Let's go.
I knew. I want this.
No, this is
to
good.
be-
You're waiting for your team to engage. If you high noon right away, you're gonna get slept. You're
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
get-
I'm just hyping
everything.
up for the high noon. No, run! No!
team took too long. Why was our team so slow there?
Yeah.
I think
Did
they
we
were
have
waiting
late
for a
deaths?
respawn. They were
Okay.
waiting for Zen, but I thought we could go in without him.
Oh! Are you gonna win this? There's no way you lose this, right? Cancel the res and everything. You got it. It
To be
was
fair-
a dub.
Yeah. So it wasn't a lot of quote unquote tangible value that you got, but just the amount of time that you bought for your team so that your Zen would be there, I suppose, for the trans to get them out of choke and then for the grab to set up, is value. And
Okay.
ideally, you live in those situations.
Yeah.
Or ideally, you find those situations
Giving
at
yourself
someone like
an
Tracer.
escape route if you do get pressured is good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you got the kill on the Widowmaker, you bought some time for your team. That is value. So yeah, ideally, we coordinate that better with our team so that you don't die, or you give yourself an out during that time kind of thing. But yeah, overall, not bad. And I think focusing on the Genji play, you mentioned since it is one of your more favorable heroes to play, focusing on your decision making and taking those advantageous duels, taking those advantageous fights, putting yourself in the right position more often is going to be your path to success, so to speak. Making sure that that thought process is happening every single time and not just by coincidence, but being very purposeful about those actions.
Okay, yeah.
That's we're coming up on the end of the hour here. So, did you have any questions or things that you wanted us to clarify?
No, I think you explained everything very well.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Well, Lou, do you have anything?
No, I think that was a really good VOD. Thank you. It was such a stark difference from our last review.
Yeah,
It was
it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was watching the other one. I was like, oh,
I
wait
almost
till
want to
I
put
see
these
how
out on
much I
YouTube
go in.
together. It's like,
the side by side comparison.
yeah. I like it. I like it. All right. Well,
But yeah,
well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you bringing us a VOD and letting us go over it. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope the tips help, and good luck climbing up to Diamond.